Hello guys, how are we doing and welcome back to the channel. Are you a solo queuer struggling to get from Crimson to Iridescent, from Plat to Diamond, or from Bronze to Silver? This video is going to be for you. We're going to be going through 10 key tips that are going to hopefully make you better at ranked play, or at least get more wins and therefore more SR, and therefore rank up quicker when you are solo queuing on Black Ops 6 ranked play. There's going to be some general tips which may not help as much directly here and now, but will help you in the long run. And there's going to be tips that you can literally implement into your next game that are going to be a very quick fix and hopefully get you wins instantly. Now, a lot of what I say doesn't just apply to solo queuing. Some of it does help at duo and trio queuing, because there's always going to be that one or two players on your team who can't communicate with, and that obviously makes it difficult and is the whole reason people struggle when they are solo queuing. Some of these tips may apply to quad stack, but this is mainly going to be if you've got someone in your team who you can't control or communicate to. This is what's going to be for that. I'm not just saying this isn't all theory. I apply all of this knowledge into my own gameplay. The background we have that you're seeing here is a gameplay I'm playing as a solo queuer. I managed to drop 50, I'm going to spoil it, I managed to drop 55 limbs, get the dub, and have a 2 KD whilst doing it all. And I'm playing against an Iridescent player with some Crimsons as well. So it's a real sweaty lobby, and I still managed to solo queue for the dub. So as I say, these aren't just me blabbering on at you. I'm actually implementing these tricks and tips into what I'm actually doing, and it's resulting in gameplays like this. So we're going to kick it off with the first one, and it's probably the most important one when you are solo queuing or duo or trio queuing. Get my words out. And it's not losing your head. Keep composure. Keep your cool. You can only control what you are doing, okay? There's no way you can pick up 3 controllers and play with 3 people. You have to just worry about yourself, play the best you can be, and if you've been your best and you still lost, it is what it is. You've tried your best. And the thing is, with this hidden MMR system, right, you're not going to be hindered as much by still doing well and losing, and you would be, and just getting dragged down by your team. So that's a benefit to that. But as you guys know, I know this from personal experience, a player without a cool head, a player who loses their composure, makes bad plays, and they just play worse at Call of Duty. They push things they shouldn't. They don't think their strategy because their head's just full of rage and frustration. So number one tip from me from the start is just keep your cool. Control what you can control. Worry about yourself. The wins will come and you'll be fine. The next thing is probably quite an obvious one, and don't worry, these tips aren't going to become less. They're going to become less and less obvious, so don't worry. Make sure you stay to the end. They're not all going to be blatantly obvious. But the next one is to try and use your comms. Just, even if you're solo queuing, get on the mic, say anyone in game chat, and if you don't feel comfy, fine, get out. But what that can often do is entice other people to communicate with you and be like, okay, yeah, let's all hop into game chat. Let's all help this player out. Let's all, communicate together to get the dub. Now, worst case scenario, you're in game chat and you feel like you're talking to yourself. No one else on your team is communicating, but that's still not bad. There's still a reason to communicate, even if you feel like it's going to the void. There's a bunch of players there who simply don't want to talk. They don't have a mic, where they don't feel confident talking to people, talking to strangers, but they can hear you. You communicating, saying where teammates are, where you're holding, where enemies are, is going to be really important for people who can hear you, even if they're not responding. Okay, so although it might not directly impact your performance, because it's not benefiting you in any way, shape, or form, it's going to enable your teammates to make smarter and better decisions, and therefore hopefully enhance your ability to get the dub. So use your comms if you can. If your teammates want to use them with you, they will. If not, keep them flowing, because teammates can hear them if they've got game chat on. Obviously. The next one, this is probably my last obvious one, is make sure you add people up after a win or a loss. Now, that's maybe a little bit of a curveball there. But what a lot of people I play with now who aren't my real life friends, I didn't go to school with them or anything like that, are people who I've met from playing Cold War, ranked play, or league play as it was called then, all the way through to now. I've made a bunch of friends, and it's people who I've literally added after the game. And you're going, you know what, you're a chill guy, you managed to shoot straight. We played well together when I was solo queuing and you were solo queuing. Let's add each other up, and you eventually build up a player base that you can play with people with, and it's the best way to avoid solo queuing, duo queuing, or trio queuing completely. So I'd recommend doing that. If you work well with a team and you're solo queuing, add them up, ask to play with them, make some friends. Now, what's probably less obvious is adding the enemies after you've lost. Now, as long as you're putting up a good fight and you're being annoying, the enemies are like, oh, I can't kill you, and you're being a good enemy. You're being bad for them, but a good enemy. The enemy. If you add the enemies up, they're going to be like, okay, yeah, you actually did well. We beat you, but fine. We're trio stack. You're solo queuing. Jump on in, and we'll see how you get on. That's the easiest and most simple way to stop the problems with solo queuing, not to solo queue. So add people up, have a little group of friends you've got, and run a stack that's efficient and works well. The next thing, which is actually going to be in the game that you can change almost instantly, and it will give you all the information you need. And so let's say you can't use the comms and you're not playing with people and you're just stuck solo queuing at the end of the day, use your Tac Map. Now the Tac Map is, you can get the Tac Map up. I'm not sure what the keybind is on keyboard and mouse, or hopefully someone down in the comments can help me out. But the Tac Map is when you press the scoreboard and then R1 or right bumper, it brings up an overview of the entire map, and it will enable you to see exactly where your teammates are watching. If the enemies shoot, it will tell you exactly where they're shot from, and it will tell you what lanes you've got covered, what lanes you don't have covered. But it gives you information on the entire map. The minimap only covers a really small amount of the map, so getting that muscle memory to scoreboard and R1 or right bumper if you're on Xbox will get you instantly to that overall map. And once you have it up once in a game, all you have to then do is press the scoreboard button, and instead of seeing the scoreboard, you will see the Tac Map. So it's only one press away, and you will have a view of the entire map, although it does fill your screen, so it's not ideal, and it's probably just better used if you're not in a sticky situation. If you've got some time to check it, that's when you want to use it. But it's a great way to get full information on where the enemy might be shooting from, where they're pushing from, and where your teammates are. Now, this is something I don't see many people using at all, and it's using the compass. Now, the compass isn't the radar, it's not the Tac Map, it's the little numbers which tell you whether you're facing northwest, south, or east, and it essentially gives you more information than you might think. Now, you can turn the compass on and have it at the top of your screen, which is what I'd recommend just here. I'm going to leave this setting up for a second so you can screenshot it, pause it, do what you want, and turning it on basically shows you red dots along that compass where enemies are when they shoot. Okay, now the bigger the red dot on the compass, the closer they are. So if it's a big flaming red dot when they're shooting, they're relatively close, but you'll probably see them on the minimap. But the benefit of using this over just your minimap is that when you're lining grenades up, let's say you're trying to throw a frag grenade across the map and someone's sat on a heady, as long as you line up the center of your compass to that red dot on the compass and you throw your nade in that direction linearly, it might go a different distance, but that's something you're going to have to work on. That'll go directly to the player wherever they were shooting. Okay, so that's one good reason why you should use the compass as it is in this screenshot here. Okay, so this is an example where the radar doesn't tell all the story. Now, this is probably more of a tip if you don't want to use the Tac Map. If you don't want to have your whole screen absorbed and you just want a quick glance, that's just as quick as glancing at the minimap. You can see here is a great example. I can see someone shooting on the minimap. It looks like one player, right? If you look at the minimap, there's a slight red sort of dash at the very top. That looks like a single player, and if I didn't have the compass up on my screen, I'd assume that's all it was. But if you can look at the compass, you can see there's actually 3 red dots there, which gives me a little bit more information than the minimap does. And I get, yep, the Tac Map, if I'd have pulled that up, I'd have been able to see every single one of them. But when you're in the gunfight and I was blocking, I think, a spawn here and holding a heady, I didn't want to be out of the game. I wanted somewhere I can quickly glance on the screen without pulling up a Tac Map and see exactly where they were. Wasn't able to do that on the minimap, but the radar, or the compass, sorry, shows exactly what direction they're going to be in. And more importantly, it tells me that there's 3 of them in that direction. Okay, so it's super useful. It's information that you're not going to be, because you're not going to get a call out. So we're assuming you're not getting call outs from your teammates here. That's super useful information that you're going to be able to get from just having a setting on. So that's a simple fix you can do right now, almost instantly. So the next thing sort of ties into using the minimap and using the Tac Map and using the compass, and it's filling the gaps, okay? So, as I said, you can't control your team. So they might be pushing things that you were holding. They might decide to, jump on hill with you, and you're like, why'd you jump on hill with me? You're meant to be holding this. Just fill the gap. Be adaptable. You can't control what they're doing. If you notice that your team needs a sub, you need some more aggression, learn to use the sub. Pull a sub out and be that aggressive player. Fill the gap for your team. If no one's blocking, switch to an AR, start blocking a little bit more, and be that sort of player for your team. Now, if you need someone to watch a certain lane, say you're on rewind, for example, and no one's watching your 18-wheeler push, or no one's watching the main street push from Burger, and you're holding P4, go to that lane. Obviously, this goes in line with using the minimap and using the Tac Map to know where your teammates are holding, but you've got to be adaptable. You can't be like, I was here first, why have you joined me, and get worked up about that. Move to a space where you're going to be more useful, and just, as I say, be adaptable, fill the gaps, and you will win more games. This is something that typically is probably a little bit more useful in S&D. And a lot of people struggle to go, okay, how often should I be looking at the minimap? When should I be using the compass? When should I be pulling out my Tac Map? Okay. Now, my rule as to when I use the minimap is when I hear shots. Okay, so when you hear shots, look at the minimap. This will mainly help when teammates aren't communicating, as I say. And it doesn't just tell you where the enemies are when they shoot. Okay, it does do that. Obviously, when the enemy shoot, you'll see the red dot, and it's free info. Okay, it's information that you wouldn't have had otherwise, especially when your teammates aren't communicating. Now, if your teammates are shooting and the enemy's not shooting, it still tells you where the enemy are. We take a look at this example here. The player behind this, the player behind me here is clearly shooting. You can see he's got that little white bit in front of his arrow. He's clearly shooting to the left over A-bomb, to the left of where I'm currently looking. Now, because I've looked there, and even though the enemy hasn't shot, I know there's an enemy there because my teammate has just shot in that direction, okay? They're either on A-bomb or just past A-bomb, but in any case, they're to my left. They're literally just here. They've got to be close, so I'm expecting a gunfight. And that's something that if I had have not looked at the minimap when my teammate shot, I wouldn't have known, okay? So that's a real nice way that even though I can't hear their comms, I know they've just shot at someone, and I need to be wary that there's going to be someone around this corner. The next tip is obviously quite a useful one, and it's work with the team. Be a complement to whatever strategy your teammates are doing. Don't play as like a solo queuer. Don't be this rogue island player. You're going to have no one to trade you. You're not going to be able to trade anyone, and it's going to be a nightmare. Push the same objective as your team if they're clearly working a bomb site or a control point. Go with them, or at least support the push. Okay, I don't mean literally be dick to dick, but just be able to support that strategic decision. Bait for them. You know, if you're just trying to double push an entry into like a hard point, say P2 Skyline, for example, and you're on the top catwalk and there's two of you there just waiting to go in, just bait for them. If they follow you up, great. Get some damage out, do as much as you can, but you know what, if they don't follow you up, maybe don't do it next time. Maybe let them bait and get the trade next time, for example. But it's work with your team, and don't play as like a solo queue island player. That's going to get you more losses than wins. Next thing, which is really, really underrated for gathering information for free, and this is something I would do even if you are quad stacking, is watch all the kill cams. This isn't gonna... what I've taught you so far is dependent on some information already being available, so that it was like minimap relies on an enemy shooting or your teammate shooting. This will tell you where the enemies are as long as they're facing, as long as the person who killed you is facing in the direction of where the enemies are. So you watch a kill cam, any green dots or team colored dots on your enemy's kill cam will be an enemy as well. So it gives you information on maybe the whole team if you watch a kill cam, okay? You'll see the green dots through the rules. You'll see if anyone's pinching. You'll see if there's someone flanking underground or something like that. That will be the information that you can have. And you can also tell where that person who's killed you is pushing after they've killed you, okay? So you get information on that player as well as potentially any other player in your team. You may as well, and you're probably thinking, I don't have time for that, I just want to get into the action. There is a few second, I think it's 2.5 on, or 2.5 on hardpoint and 3.5 on control, something like that. There's a respawn delay. If you're not watching your kill cam, all you're going to be doing is sat there waiting to respawn anyway. You may as well watch a few seconds of your kill cam to get some very free information before respawning back in. On S&D, you don't respawn, so there's absolutely zero rush. You want to watch exactly what's happening in your kill cam. You want to be looking for green dots through walls. You want to be making sure you're clearly watching the full kill cam so you can see where the player who killed you has gone next, enabling a trade. Those things are all super duper important, and it's what I don't see enough of it when I'm watching people or seeing VODs and things like that. But it's a super easy one to start doing right now. Two more. Always assume the enemy is full health. The worst thing happens when your team are in a push, where you're like in a push routine and you're trying to break a hill and you're expecting enemy to have been weakened by your teammate. You go and chow, you put a few bullets and go to turn to the next side, but you haven't quite killed them because he's not one shot and you die. You don't kill anyone, you die. That's the worst thing. You're probably going to spend more time with this tip. You're probably going to spend more time in gunfights before moving on or changing targets, but it will mean you're more likely to guarantee the kill, guarantee the trade in the first place. I've made this mistake so many times where a teammate of mine who I don't have comms with has gone in first. They've put some damage out, maybe not anything. I've gone in assuming they've been made one shot, put a few bullets, go to transfer to the next guy. That guy's still alive and I'm dead. So that's a really easy one. Again, you can implement it into your gameplay straight away. And the next thing, which is a little bit difficult and will take time, is learning these spawns. Now, I know loads of you guys want to try and learn spawns anyway. I do spawn guides to help that out. If this video has brought you to the channel and you're a newbie here, my spawn guides could be found in my recent videos, but you need to use your spawns, okay? Knowing spawns is useful anyway, even as a quad stacker. It will tell you where you need to block to make more kills more impactful. So it enables your teams to have the good spawns. You can spawn enemies further away. You can read enemies' pushes and flips. All of those things are useful whether you're solo queuing, duo queuing, trio queuing, or quad stacking. So yeah, learn the spawns, and the best way to do that is play a lot, have the spawn guide up on your other screen or on your book or printed out, something like that, and just rinse and repeat. That's going to do. I've talked a lot. You're probably sick of hearing me. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions about anything I've covered today, feel free to leave a comment down below. You can DM me on Twitter, DM me on Discord. Just chat in the Discord if you want. I don't mind. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao for now.